Hey everyone, welcome to the day one of 30-day UX design challenge. So basically in this video we are going to cover the fundamentals of UX design step by step. So let's get started. So the first thing that we should learn is what is UX designing. It's quite complicated, means every person in this industry will define the UX designing in a different way. Alright, so UX designing is, the full form is user experience designing. In this field, what we do, we focus on creating products. It can be a web application, it can be a mobile application, it can be admin panels or anything. It can be a software as well. So basically we focus on creating products, services or systems. Okay. So the basic goal of the UX designer is to design the solution in a very easy way so that the users, those are using that product, is find it very intuitive, very easy to use and delightful, right? Apart from this, it also means increase the chances of engagement between the users and the products. For example, you created a mobile application. There are so many chat applications, but WhatsApp is very intuitive and easy to use. Even those who are not very educated are using WhatsApp nowadays, mostly in India, I can say. So means it's engagement and retention as well. So let's understand what is there are so many terms, like it's a UX design, UI design, product design. So what's the difference between all these things? So basically the UI is how your application look, what colors we are using, what buttons, how the buttons are they rounded, are there it's a very simple example. So it's basically focus on your color branding or your font size we are using, this look and feel of the application that you are creating, and how the person once they click on it, how the next screen will come up, like it's kind of an animation or something. That UI person is focusing on user interface, means when the user is interacting with the product, how they feel, how they interact with it, right? While the product designer is define the core features and the functionality of the product. For example, in this application this should be like this, and this should come like this. So that's a product designer, means that person who is working on a product. In service based in a product based company, actually we have a product designers on a high level, and then UX or UI designers. So basically the UX designer is actually connects between the product and the UI designer. So means it's like product designer tells about the functionality, core features that come up. UX design research on it, create wireframes and all these things, and then on the basis of final wireframes the UX designer just make them colorful, like a painter kind of thing, if you can say. So let's come up with what's role of the UX designer is. Okay, so basically what exactly UX designers do, what they do, they understand the users. That's the most important part, means by interviewing, by with the forms, with the quiz, with the polls, anything, means by any means they understand the user behavior. Designer is to understand the users, what's their motivation and what's their needs, actually to understand what their needs. Basically the main one thing that they should focus on, what their pain point is currently, what their problem they are facing, and that that will be our that will be beneficial for us if we solve that problem. Because currently for example, people are not able to call the other person on WhatsApp, for example, and if they introduce this calling option, which they already done, so means it was the pain point earlier, like. So apart from this, UX designer do the research research in the sense means it can be with any kind of a medium through uh, by interviewing the users, by asking certain questions, by um, with the help of polls in any kind of open community, any kind of thing. They can do this uh, research part. Once they are done with it, they they follow a process, and they do the testing with the users, actual users as well, unless and until the final feasible product is available, uh, final product that is useful for the end users. Okay, if I talk about like what they exactly do, how they create, how they present their research. So they create user flows. Means if it's an application, mobile application, the first the splash screen will come up, then onboarding screen will come up, then this login screen come up, sign up screen come up. So once they are creating the sign up, so either they are logging with the Google for Google, Gmail or Facebook, or means how this flow will gonna be. So they create user flows. They create wireframes, basically with the very low fidelity wireframes, to understand like it's a just a button, it's just a text, dummy text and everything. And they create a prototypes. So if you click on a sign up button, so you will have a form with a name and password and everything, and reiterate it, so that they get to know what the pain their users are still facing. Okay, and basically the major part is they actually interact with the stakeholders, like product managers. In service based companies, they directly connect with the clients, so that they can understand what exactly is the product, and they should advocate the user. Okay, next is I would say what exactly is the process they follow. Means we just talk about like they do the research, they do testing, and then they iterate. But in the research part, it's actually a lot. They actually gather about what their audience looks like. For example, I'm creating a an application for a particular user persona is like I'm creating an application. For example, Tinder is for only for the singles, as an example, or means it is ranges from 20 years to 40 years, something like that. So for male and female, this is my persona. And any application we are creating, for example, for only particular reason. So that's also like a location based persona. So they gather the insights of the user, what their users are look like, and they brainstorm on the ideas. And for the ideas, we can use any kind of different frameworks. For example, their pain points is 10, and we will try to find out the solution for those pain points. Then they create design. In the design part, they creates like a wireframes and prototypes, so that they can interview, they can test with the actual users, unless and until the actual users don't understand the low fidelity wireframes. So they have to create a little bit high fidelity and prototype as well. Apart after that, they test the solutions with the actual users. They give their task. For example, you have to purchase an item on Amazon, as an example. So they do this kind of task to test if their solution is still looking like that, means it's a feasible, or they are facing any kind of a problem. And this iteration goes on unless and until they get the feedback, and they reiterate it, and make it more feasible. So means we have talked about a lot what is the UX designer, who is the UX designer, sorry, and what they do, and what exactly the process they follow. What are the job opportunities for the UX designers? There are UX designers that's already described, but in the UX researcher, they focus on the research part only. There's a UX architect, UX writer, means how the content in your application looks like, for example, in such a way that it's intuitive and easy to read for the users. Okay, and UX engineer, all these titles, there are different titles for the UX designers, and they work in a very different various industries. So it can be a tech, finance, healthcare, anything. Okay, e-commerce, everything. So if I talk about why UX designers matters, so in this AI world, you can create a visuals, you can create a any application with the templates or with anything, but the UX actually important. You have to understand your users pain point, what they're facing right now, and unless and until you don't know that, you can't create a very UX designer actually provides the solution. And it's also like they drives the user adoption, and how the user that lands on your application or in your product retain that and satisfy them as well later on, and reward them in any way. So these that's why UX designers are important. So that was the all in this video. Let's see what we have for the next 29 days. Thank you guys. Bye bye.